A deserted storage unit. Its metal door rolled up to reveal forgotten treasures and painful memories. In the world of storage wars, life plays out in concrete corridors lined with abandoned belongings, where fortunes can change with the swing of an auctioneer's gavel. But what happens when the cameras stop rolling and real life intrudes with its harshest realities? How do we reconcile the vibrant personalities we welcomed into our living rooms with the sobering news that some of them are no longer with us? Today, we honor the Storage Wars family members who faced their final auctions far too soon, and the legacies they left behind in both television history and the hearts of fans worldwide. Since 2010, Storage Wars has captivated audiences with its unique blend of treasure hunting, entrepreneurial spirit, and larger-than-life personalities. The A&E reality series transformed the mundane world of storage unit auctions into compelling television, creating unexpected celebrities from the bidders who sought to strike it rich among abandoned possessions. These weren't just cast members. They became familiar faces in millions of households, their catchphrases part of pop culture lexicon, their triumphs and disappointments shared with an audience who felt they knew them personally. That's why news of tragedy hitting the Storage Wars family cuts especially deep. These were people who entered our homes weekly, whose quirks and quips became as familiar as those of friends. When their stories take unexpected and heartbreaking turns, the grief ripples through a community of viewers who witnessed their journeys. As we count down the most profound losses and challenges faced by the cast, we remember not just their television personas, but the very real people behind them. Number 10. Mark Balelo. Known to fans as Rico Suave, Mark Balelo brought flamboyance and deep pockets to the auction wars during his guest appearances on the show. With his designer clothes, wads of cash, and willingness to outbid the regulars, Balelo quickly established himself as a memorable character despite his limited screen time. Originally from Portugal, he built a successful import-export business and owned a gaming store called The Game Exchange before joining the cast, bringing an outsider's perspective to the storage auction world. In February 2013, Balelo was found dead in his car at his auction house in Simi Valley, California. He had taken his own life at age 40, just 2 days after an arrest on drug-related charges. The news came as a devastating shock to both fans and castmates, occurring so early in the show's run. A&E and the production company released a brief statement expressing condolences, while fellow cast members maintained a respectful silence about the details surrounding his death. Dave Hester, known for his confrontational approach on the show, notably paused their on-screen rivalry to acknowledge the loss. In many ways, Balelo's passing was the first major reminder that behind the competitive banter and treasure hunting lay real people with real struggles. Number 9. Laura Dotson. As one half of the dynamic auctioneering duo with husband Dan, Laura Dotson's rapid-fire calling style and cheerful, "Don't forget to pay the lady" catchphrase became synonymous with Storage Wars from its very first episode. Her warmth and professionalism helped ground the show amid the often chaotic bidding wars, establishing her as both a respected industry veteran and a fan favorite. The Dotsons brought legitimacy to the series with their decades of experience running American auctioneers in California. In June 2013, Laura suffered a devastating double aneurysm that nearly claimed her life. According to reports, she collapsed at her home, and Dan performed CPR until paramedics arrived. She was rushed to the hospital where doctors discovered she had experienced an aneurysm that had burst in her brain, followed by a second one. The prognosis was initially dire, with doctors preparing the family for the worst. Remarkably, Laura survived what many don't and made a gradual recovery that her husband later described as nothing short of miraculous. She eventually returned to the show, though with a new perspective on life. During her recovery, production adjusted filming schedules, and the Storage Wars community rallied around the beloved auctioneer. Today, Laura continues her work alongside Dan, but that brush with mortality serves as a sobering reminder of how quickly life can change, even for the most vibrant personalities on reality television. Number 8. Ron Sheenstra. Though less prominent than the Dotsons, Ron Sheenstra's distinctive voice echoed through several early seasons of Storage Wars as an alternate auctioneer. His traditional auction style provided a different energy when he stepped in, and keen-eyed fans would notice the shift in dynamics when Ron took the podium. Before television fame, Sheenstra had built a respected career in the Southern California auction circuit, bringing decades of experience to the show. In 2012, Sheenstra passed away from complications of diabetes at age 63. His death came during a period when the show was at its peak popularity, though it received relatively little publicity compared to later tragedies that would hit the cast. His final appearance had aired just months before his passing. The production acknowledged his contribution with a simple tribute card at the end of an episode, a small but meaningful gesture for a man who had helped shape the show's authentic auction atmosphere. While never achieving the household name status of some cast members, Sheenstra represented the real working auctioneers whose livelihoods depended on the storage auction world long before cameras made it famous. A connection to the genuine industry that helped give the show its initial credibility. Number 7. Gunter Nizoda. Though not one of the headline stars, Gunter Nizoda became a recognizable presence at the auctions, occasionally appearing alongside his son Rene, who gained more prominent status on the show. With his distinctive German accent and quiet determination, Gunter represented the many serious buyers who formed the authentic backdrop of the storage auction world. Before Storage Wars, he had an eclectic career as a professional bass player and photographer, bringing a unique perspective to the treasure hunting business. In April 2023, Gunter passed away at age 67 after a battle with lung cancer. According to statements from his son, the cancer had been diagnosed just 6 months earlier and had spread rapidly despite treatment attempts. Rene shared the news with fans through social media, noting that his father had been a smoker for decades before quitting several years prior to his diagnosis. The show's extended family responded with an outpouring of condolences, highlighting how even those with less screen time had formed meaningful bonds with both viewers and fellow cast members. Gunter's passing reminded fans that behind every familiar face on the show, even those who might appear in just a handful of episodes, was a full life story with family, dreams, and challenges that continued long after the cameras stopped rolling on auction day. Number 6. Dave Hester. Few characters in reality television history have embraced the villain role as enthusiastically as Dave Hester, whose signature "yoop," bid, and confrontational style made him the cast member fans loved to hate. As an experienced second-generation auctioneer and thrift store owner, Hester brought legitimate expertise to the show, even as his tactics frustrated competitors and delighted viewers. His willingness to drive up prices and engage in on-screen feuds made him an essential part of the show's dynamic. In 2018, Hester suffered a hemorrhagic stroke that nearly ended his life and temporarily sidelined his television career. According to his own accounts, he woke up unable to walk or talk and spent weeks in intensive care followed by months of physical therapy. The health crisis came after years of on-screen intensity and behind-the-scenes legal battles with the production company, adding a sobering dimension to his larger-than-life persona. Though he eventually returned to the show in a limited capacity, Hester appeared changed by the experience, showing rare vulnerability in discussing his recovery. For a man known for his combative approach to both business and television, the stroke served as a stark reminder of mortality. Fans who had spent years rooting against his auction antics found themselves in the unexpected position of rooting for his recovery, revealing the complex relationship between reality TV personalities and their audiences. Number 5. Daryl Sheets. Known as the Gambler, Daryl Sheets built his reputation on high-risk, high-reward bids that sometimes yielded extraordinary finds, including valuable art collections and rare collectibles. His partnership with son Brandon added a family dimension to his storyline, and his genuine enthusiasm when discovering valuable items made for some of the show's most exciting moments. Off camera, Sheets had spent decades in the picking business before Storage Wars transformed him into an unlikely celebrity. In March 2019, Sheets revealed he had suffered a massive heart attack and would be undergoing surgery. According to his social media posts, doctors discovered he had congestive heart failure and a severe lung condition, requiring immediate intervention. The health crisis came after Sheets had publicly committed to improving his health, having lost significant weight in preceding years. The news stunned fans who had watched Sheets lift heavy furniture and navigate packed storage units with apparent ease throughout the show's run. His hospitalization photo, a stark contrast to his energetic on-screen persona, circulated widely among the Storage Wars community, prompting an outpouring of support. Though he recovered and has maintained a lower profile since leaving the show, Sheets' health scare highlighted the physical toll that the storage hunting lifestyle, with its irregular hours and constant lifting, can take on even its most seasoned practitioners. Number 4. Ivy Calvin. Known as the King of Palmdale, Ivy Calvin brought a former professional athlete's competitive spirit to the Storage Wars, establishing himself as a formidable bidder with a straightforward approach and deep knowledge of second-hand markets. As owner of Grandma's Attic thrift store, Calvin had a ready outlet for his finds, and his practical business sense made him one of the show's most consistent success stories. Unlike some cast members who courted drama, Calvin's appeal lay in his steadfast focus on the bottom line. In February 2018, Calvin faced personal tragedy when his brother died unexpectedly. Though Calvin maintained privacy around the specific circumstances, the loss visibly affected him during filming periods that followed. As someone who had incorporated his own sons into his business and occasionally featured them on the show, family clearly formed the foundation of Calvin's life beyond the cameras. While continuing to appear on Storage Wars, Calvin scaled back public appearances during this period of grief. Fellow cast members, including Brandy Passante and Gerard Schultz, were reported to have reached out with condolences despite the competitive nature of their on-screen relationships. Calvin's experience highlighted how the cast, despite their televised rivalries, often came together as a supportive community when facing real-life hardships, revealing connections deeper than their bidding wars suggested. Number 3. René Nezoda. With his thick German accent and encyclopedic knowledge of collectibles, René Nezoda quickly established himself as one of the show's most knowledgeable buyers after joining in Season 4. As owner of the massive Bargain Hunters thrift store in San Diego, Nezoda had both the expertise to spot valuable items and the retail space to move them quickly. His partnership with wife Casey further cemented his position as a fan favorite and serious competitor at auctions. In 2023, Nezoda experienced profound loss with the death of his father and occasional Storage Wars co-star, Gunter. As mentioned earlier, Gunter succumbed to lung cancer after a brief but intense battle with the disease. What made this loss particularly poignant was René's public documentation of his father's final days, sharing updates with fans who had come to know both men through the show. In videos posted after his father's passing, René spoke candidly about the emotional and practical challenges of continuing the family business while grieving. The thrift store that had featured in so many episodes now stood as both a legacy and a painful reminder. For viewers who had watched father and son hunt treasures together, René's loss resonated deeply, demonstrating how the relationships formed through the show, both on camera and off, created real bonds that could be shattered by life's inevitable tragedies. Number 2. Barry Weiss. Affectionately known as the Collector, Barry Weiss brought an eccentric charm and genuine passion for unique items to the original cast lineup. Unlike other buyers focused primarily on profit, Weiss approached storage units as treasure hunts for conversation pieces and oddities, making him an instant fan favorite. His vintage cars, outlandish sunglasses, and witty one-liners created a persona that stood apart from the business-focused approach of his competitors. In April 2019, Weiss was involved in a serious motorcycle accident in Los Angeles that nearly claimed his life. According to reports, a car pulled out from a parking space, striking Weiss and his friend, both on motorcycles. Weiss suffered extensive injuries including broken bones, internal injuries, and chest trauma that required multiple surgeries and a lengthy ICU stay. The accident occurred years after he had left the show, but shocked fans who had continued to follow his post-Storage Wars adventures. During his recovery, which lasted more than a year, fellow cast members visited him in the hospital and provided updates to concerned fans. Dave Hester, despite their on-screen rivalry, was among those who publicly expressed support. Weiss eventually recovered enough to return to television in the spin-off Storage Wars, Barry Strikes Back. But the accident left lasting physical effects and served as a sobering reminder of how quickly life can change, even for someone who had approached it with such evident joy and curiosity. Number 1. Brandy Passante. One half of the show's original power couple, alongside then-partner Jared Schultz, Brandy Passante brought business acumen and no-nonsense practicality to their bidding strategy. Her straightforward approach and willingness to rein in Jared's sometimes impulsive purchases made them effective competitors, while their relationship dynamics added emotional depth to their storyline. As co-owners of the Now and Then thrift store, they represented the ambitious small business owners trying to build something substantial through the storage auction gamble. In recent years, Passante has faced multiple personal challenges, beginning with her highly publicized split from Schultz after nearly 2 decades together. The breakup, which became public knowledge during filming of later seasons, created unprecedented tension as the former couple continued appearing on the show as separate bidders. In 2020, Passante revealed that she had also been battling serious health issues, including COVID-19 complications that left her with lingering effects. Perhaps most painfully, Passante lost her mother in late 2021, sharing her grief through social media posts that resonated deeply with fans. Through these compounding challenges, she continued filming while raising her 2 children as a single mother, a testament to her resilience beyond the tough persona viewers had come to know. For many fans who had followed her journey from the first episode, Passante's evolution from one half of a bidding team to an independent woman navigating profound life changes represented one of the show's most authentic and moving storylines. When Storage Wars first invited viewers into the world of abandoned unit auctions, few could have predicted how deeply audiences would connect with the cast of characters who made their living gambling on the unknown. What began as a show about the thrill of the find evolved into a chronicle of real lives unfolding both on and off camera. Lives touched by triumph and tragedy in equal measure. These storage hunters entered our living rooms as colorful personalities, but revealed themselves through time and circumstances as people navigating the same fragile human experience we all share. The losses and challenges faced by the Storage Wars family remind us that reality television, despite its contrived moments and heightened drama, features real people with real vulnerabilities. Mark Balelo's tragic death came far too soon, leaving questions that can never be answered. The health scares experienced by Laura Dotson, Dave Hester, and Daryl Sheets revealed the physical toll that even seemingly healthy individuals can face without warning. The grief experienced by Renee Nazoda and Ivy Calvin when losing family members transcended any on-screen rivalry, while Brandy Passante's multiple personal struggles showcased remarkable resilience in the face of compounding challenges. Perhaps what stays with us most is how these individuals continued forward, how Barry Weiss maintained his irrepressible spirit even after a devastating accident, or how Laura Dotson returned to the auction podium after nearly losing her life. Which of these stories resonated most deeply with you? Did you follow any of these cast members' journeys beyond what was shown on screen? If this look behind the auction wars touched you, please consider subscribing for more thoughtful explorations of the real people behind your favorite reality shows.